$3,612 for SSI, Supplemental Security Income, with this one simple change. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. Alright, now in this video, I want to discuss some details specifically pertaining to SSI, Supplemental Security Income, and the roughly 8 million beneficiaries, and how all of these 8 million beneficiaries should be getting at least $3,612 more. There's a lot to talk about here in this video, so let's get into it and discuss all the details. However, really fast before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video, as it's totally free to do so, and because I am your one and only daily advocate, I'm here for you right by your side each and every day, watching all this new information hitting the wire, doing the research and breaking it all down into these short videos so you can stay updated with what's actually going on, and most importantly, how it's going to impact you, your money, your benefits, your lifestyle, your bank account, and of course anything showing up that you can possibly grab and or take advantage of as a low income or fixed income beneficiary. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and also remember, I'm here for you in any way that I can be. That's my dedication and my promise to you and everybody right here in the community, and as always, I'm sticking to it. Alright, thanks again. Let's get into it and talk about the $3,612 more for SSI beneficiaries and how all beneficiaries should be getting at least this much more. In some instances, a lot more than even that. So yeah, that's a big deal. So let's get into it and talk through the details and what this means for the roughly 8 million SSI beneficiaries, and literally one simple change, like I said earlier, that Congress already has in their possession and they've already talked about many times. All right, so there's a few different details here that I want to break down for you. Here's what it comes down to. From 2021 to 2022 to 2023, some things have been changing in a pretty big way. Now, really quickly, let me give you a little bit of history on SSI. Really fast here. This is not going to be a history lesson, but rather let me just tell you the details about this. So way back in the early 70s, in fact, in 1972, SSI was formed, okay? The whole purpose of the SSI program was an anti-poverty program to basically keep older adults and people with disabilities out of poverty. Essentially, what it came down to is so that these individuals did not need to rely on family members or friends for money and to help them out. Basically, the program was founded so that, you know, people that have limited income and limited resources could have an ongoing monthly income so that they could be self-sufficient. Okay, sounds like a good plan to me, right? Well, that's what the whole purpose was behind SSI back in the early 70s. 1972, when it was started, an anti-poverty program to help individuals out, you know, that have limited income and resources, and to make sure that they had the money that they needed on an ongoing monthly basis. Okay, sounds good. However, let's fast forward about 51 years since the program started until today, 2023. All right, let's talk through the details now. This program has unfortunately fallen way behind the curve here. Over the last, call it 51 years, these benefits have fallen way behind the actual cost of living. Let me ask you, I'm guessing if you're watching this video, you're probably an SSI beneficiary. Do you think that your income as an SSI beneficiary is keeping pace with the cost of living? Do you think it is exceeding the cost of living? Or do you think that it is way behind? Okay, I'm just going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to guess the vast majority of the comments that I see down below are probably going to say it is way behind the cost of living or some combination of that, okay? I think we all completely agree, and here's the deal. You're right, it has fallen way behind the actual cost of living because the annual cost of living adjustment, the COLA, each and every year has unfortunately not kept up with real increases to the cost of living. Now, obviously, we've talked about that a little bit before in previous videos, but this is the case. Now, as a result of that, get this. The federal poverty line in 2023 was announced around the early part of the year. Well, as a result of that, the federal poverty line increased by 7.28% from 2022 to 2023, or $990 over the course of the entire year. So right now in 2023, the federal poverty line is $14,580 through the course of the entire year. Or this divides out to an increase, it divides out to $1,215 on a monthly basis is what the federal poverty line is. However, what's the maximum benefit for SSI right now in 2023? It's $914, a difference of $301 every single month. So basically what this means is that SSI benefits are below the federal poverty line. The maximum benefit is below the federal poverty line by $301 every single month. Well, guess what? On an annualized basis, that comes out to $3,612 over the course of the entire year. That SSI benefits are behind the federal poverty line. So here's what it comes down to. Plain and simple. If you are an SSI beneficiary, and if you are getting the maximum SSI benefit, you can't get any more than that. $914 is the maximum right now as an individual. Even if you're getting the maximum, guess what? Even as the maximum, you're still behind the federal poverty line by $3,612 every single year. Now let me ask you, way back when this program started, back in 1972, as an anti-poverty program to keep people at or above the federal poverty line, are we at or above the federal poverty line today? Nope. We're below it by $3,612 over the course of the entire year, even for somebody that gets the maximum benefit. It's craziness, right? Now, why? How could this have happened? What happened to this program? And why did this happen? What happened to this program? Good question. Like I said earlier, it all comes down to the COLA. I mean, realistically, this is really what it comes down to. Each and every year, the Social Security Administration comes out in mid-October and they announce the annual cost of living adjustment for about 70 million beneficiaries. Now, obviously, that 70 million adjusts each and every year. More people are drawing on benefits like Social Security retirement and SSDI and survivors and SSI and VA. But across the board, it's about 70 million people. Now, obviously, that number continues to trend higher each and every year. But generally, it's about that 70 million. But my point is, every October, the Social Security Administration comes out and they announce the COLA for the following year based on inflation in the third quarter of that year, right? Well, we know that unfortunately this COLA, we've talked about it before, is based on the CPI-W, right? The Consumer Price Index, right? So the inflation report. Well, what they want to do is they want to change it to the CPI-E, the Consumer Price Index for the elderly, which better reflects the actual cost of living and the actual price increases for the elderly, right? So as a result of that, and if they just would have adjusted the COLA each and every year to actually better reflect the real cost of living and what inflation is really doing, we would not be having this problem. But unfortunately, it's been falling behind by a little bit, a couple tenths of a percent, maybe 0.2%, maybe 1%, maybe 0.7%, whatever it happens to be, a little bit each and every year, year over year over year over year, over long periods of time with compounding. Guess what happens? Well, this is what we see what happens. Benefits are now behind by over $300 a month, and this is just SSI. How about Social Security retirement and SSDI and survivors and VA benefits? They're all falling behind just as much just because of the same reason. The COLA not accurately reflecting the real cost of living for fixed income beneficiaries over long periods of time, factoring in compounding, and there you go. You've got the recipe for benefits that are way too low. Don't know how else to say it, right? That is plain and simple. That is exactly what has happened. Now, again, if we look into it and if we ask anybody about this, they'll say, oh, well, it's really because of this. They'll give us a million different reasons and excuses for why this is happening. I don't need all that fancy words and stuff like that. You know, I'm not the smartest person in the world. I don't claim to be, but I am a very logical person and I do understand things pretty well. And this is what it comes down to. This is plain and simple. This is cut and dry. This is black and white. It's right here, okay? This is the detail of the plan. Basically what it is, benefits have not kept up with the cost of living adjustment. Long periods of time, compounding, boom, you've got the recipe for a failed program. That's all it is. So I just want to bring this to your attention so we can all see what is really going on here. And really what it comes down to is the SSI program has failed the beneficiaries. That's really what it comes down to. As an SSI beneficiary, you have drawn on these benefits because you're either one of the two. You're an older adult, 65 or older, who has limited income and limited resources, and you've drawn on this program because you need some extra money. Not a problem. That's why the program is here. It is here for you to take advantage of it and for you to draw on these benefits as needed. Or you're somebody who is younger than the age of 65 and you maybe have a disability that keeps you from working. And as a result of that, again, drawing on the benefits because you need this extra money. Well, guess what? The program is failing you. Just letting you know. This is not me saying, oh, you've done something. You haven't done anything. You've done absolutely nothing, right? This is not your, this is not something that you brought on, but rather the program has failed you as a whole. So anyways, I want to bring this to your attention to let you know what's really going on here, because this is a program that needs some major reform. We've talked about this before in other videos, and we do know that that Congress does have a piece of legislation that they've talked about, which is the SSI Restoration Act. They've talked about it a number of times, but have they done it? No, they haven't done it. Okay, but this is something that they've talked about, where they've discussed raising the benefits up to the federal poverty line, raising those benefits for SSI beneficiaries. Well, that'd be a pretty nice thing to do, right? But will they actually get it done? That's another question. We don't really know that quite yet, but this is what they've discussed. Either way, I'll continue watching everything closely, but I wanted to bring this to your attention so we can all see what is clearly going on here. This is the problem. It's a major problem anyway, right? So, of course, as I do get more details on anything, I will bring it to your attention here in these videos, but I wanted to bring this to light so we can all clearly see the problems that we are facing right now. And this is a clear example of how benefits are not being adequately raised up to what the real cost of living adjustment is, or cost of living, I should say, every single year. Anyway, maybe we'll get some kind of reform on this. Maybe we'll get some kind of changes on this, but this is certainly something we can clearly see here. Benefits are behind by over $3,600 a year. Let me ask you really quickly, what would an extra $300 per month do for you, or $3,600 do for your lifestyle every single year? Would that be helpful, or would it not? That's a no-brainer. Yeah, of course it would be helpful, right? So anyway, we don't need to go down that path again. We don't need to discuss all that in further detail, but you can clearly see the point I'm trying to make here, right? Anyway, I'm here for you in any way that I can be. Please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands upon thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day, have a good one, and I'll catch you again later in the next video.